Hello, this is Mark Gabor. This is Operations Management Excel Project 1, Part 2. We're looking at time series data. I have downloaded, and you can't see what I've downloaded, so let me tell you what I've downloaded by inserting a row and putting a title in here. I've downloaded UPS closing prices from December 2nd, 2014 to January 23rd, 2015. I will make that bold, and I'll make it bigger, and if I want, I could make it a different color. I have the date and I have the close. Let me highlight those as well. They're already bold. Let me justify them the same as the numbers are justified. And let me look at my data. I notice when I scroll, I lose the headers. So if I put my cursor here in this row, the first row of data, and I go to View, Freeze Panes, and I say Freeze Panes, it freezes the panes so that my headers stay while I scroll the rest of the data. Very nice. Let's say I want to make, as you'll notice I like to do, I like to put a light blue header on all my data. And then I want to add something called percent change from previous day. Notice I had already hit wrap text, so it allowed the text to wrap and made a nice, even though the column is wider than I would like, it's not as wide as if that data, if I clicked here and I unwrap the text and I was to left justify it, it wouldn't look like that, but if I wrap it, it looks like that way, and it looks kind of nice. Now, one thing I notice is that the previous day is, my days go from current, they go down historically. I don't want that. Actually, I could live with it, but for the purposes of this exercise, I want you to experience sorting data. If I highlight the two columns of the data I want to sort, and I don't want to just sort the date column, I want the closing price to go along with it. Look at January 23rd, the closing price is 102.93. December 2nd, the closing price is 110.41. I like those prices to go along with the date. I go to data, I put a filter on. Notice it put these little arrows. If I click on the arrow by date, it sorts oldest to newest, which is what I want. Right now it's newest to oldest. So I do that, and now notice December 2nd is on the top and the 110.41 price is with it. And if I go to the bottom, which is now the most recent date, January 23rd, the 102.93 price is with that. So it's very good. It did exactly what I want. So I don't make a mistake and sort it again. I'm going to take that filter off. One of the exercises was to just graph that data. So let's graph that data. And all I want to do is insert a scatter diagram, and it graphs that, just like that. And let's move this chart down a little bit. Let me change the title to represent what we have. We have UPS closing price 12 2 14 to 123.15. Very nice. But I notice my dates are all cluttered down here. So I go back to my dates, and maybe I want to change how those dates look. I'd rather have it say like 1, like I've been typing it, 12, 2, 14, 123, 15. So I go to here, and I go to my more number formats. And I don't see what I want there, but if I click on date, oh, there's 3/14/01. That's the kind of thing I'd like to see. And notice it changed all the formats. Very nice. So it's easier to read. And if I click on the graph, notice I have this thing chart tools up here. I can change my formats around. And let's say I want a header and a footer. And which ones have a header and footer? This one right here has a header, footer, and axis titles. I don't really need, I only have one graph, so I know what it is. It's what it is in the title, so I take that out. And now my dates are better. The other thing I could do if I want to go here, I could highlight the axis. I could go there, and if I look at the number, it has my dates, line color, 3D format, axis options. There's a way to anyway, I could change those as I want to. I'm going to leave them as is right now. So I go here, I would go type in date. I would go here, I would type in closing price in dollars. And now I have a nice little graph. And if I make the graph bigger, I can see approximately where my dates are. Very nice. Now, I want to do a percent change from previous day. December 2nd, since we don't have December 1 data, there is no previous day. So let's start in the very next column, which is December 3rd. And I want to put equal, parentheses, December 3rd minus December 2nd data. I want to put a close parentheses and I want to divide it. Now, do I want to divide it by 11041 or 11090? Well, it's a percent change from previous day, so I have to put the previous day there. And there we have it. It gives me a percent. I had already formatted that. If I had left it this way, which was just the regular data, the same data as I had here, I could, one, copy all this data down. But you see, it's not very interesting. It's 0, 0, it's percentage 0, 0. What does that mean? This is in decimal places right now, and I know I want percentages. And the reason it's in accounting data, if I change it to numerical data or general, wow, look at all the decimal places it gives me. I don't need that many decimal places, and I really want it in percentages. There's a percentage button here. Let me click on that. Again, not interesting. I need more decimal places. So let me make it that way. Now I can see a percent change. And it varies. Now let's say I want a graph of percent change. Well, I still want to graph date. Or if I want, I can graph this way because I'm only doing it from December 3rd. Now how do I highlight the percent? I hit the control key and then drag the percent down. Now if I set insert scatter diagram again and use the same kind, well, it's going to show negative because it goes up and down, which is good. And it almost shows the same shape, oddly, or opposite shape, maybe because as it goes up, my percent should go up. So it should be showing the same kind of general pattern. And I think I'll still use the same chart title. I don't need, we know what it is. What's the chart title? Percent change in UPS close. Closing price. December to, let's just put January year to date, because that's at the time I'm typing this, that's what it is. And I can make it about the same size if I want. And it looks pretty good. So I have a graph. Notice I have my positive, negative. I maybe want to put my axis, format axis. Where do I want the axis? There's a way of putting it at the bottom. I'm not going to do that right now. Where do I want it? middle, top, bottom. Oh, that didn't change anything. But I know if I want to go up here, I know what to do now. I go and say, first of all, I hit that. And I've got my axis. And I go number, fill, axis options. Alignment. And the text direction, let's say I want the text direction to be vertical. Notice how it changed it to vertical. I don't know if that's what I want. I'll undo it because that's not what I want. There's other things I can do. If I want to take this chart and I want to change the line to that color or other colors, I can do that. If I want to change the type of chart I have, if I want a black background and purple, it can do that. A lot of students like those kinds of things. I'm more of a traditionalist and like it this way. So this is how you could graph these two things. Let's try one more thing, and again, it's a lot of trial and error here. There's my axis. If I double click on that, and where is my if I make it low, now it puts my axis at the bottom. That's much easier to read than it was before, and I still have 0 up here. So if I want to change these dates, date, and what do we call this one before? This was closing price, price in dollars. So there we have our two graphs. And this is about what it would take for the temperature graph that you had to do. Thank you very much.